Some stories aren't just about winning, they're about rising, about standing up after years of falling, and proving that pain can become power. In a city where fitting in meant everything, one boy stood out for all the wrong reasons. They called him names. They laughed when he ran. Even the adults, the ones who should have known better, told him he'd never be good enough. But what they didn't know was that every cruel word lit a fire inside him. And years later, when the world least expected it, that same boy returned, not as a victim, but as a champion. Before we begin, if you believe that pain can shape greatness, that strength isn't found in perfection, but in perseverance, then take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to From Shadows to Light. Because every story like this reminds us, sometimes the ones who are laughed at become the ones the world stands up for. I stand at the starting line before dawn, chest tight with anticipation. The city around me is just waking up. Streetlights blink out as the sun begins to rise. Concrete skyscrapers stretch above like gray giants, their windows tinted by early haze. A cool morning breeze ruffles my shirt, carrying the faint scent of rain on asphalt and metal. I am Ethan. For years I believed I would never be here. Yet here I am, pinned under a race bib, ready to run a marathon through these city streets. My pulse races, and around me the other runners shuffle and stretch. Some are chatting, others stare at the ground. I keep my eyes fixed on the skyline and my hands clench into nervous fists of memory. This is it. I remember who I used to be. A young boy with a round face and heavy body, hiding in the back of the class. I was the one who sat in silence at lunchtime, too afraid to speak up, eyes glued to the edge of my tray. The cafeteria was an ocean of noise, laughter and slams of lockers. I sat aside and listened to the jabs. "Fatso," they'd hiss. "Will the whale eat again today?" And my chest would twist tight. I heard it all. And somewhere that boy hardened the steel inside me. Back then I was slow in gym class. Coach Anderson gave me those knowing stares, shook his head, and caught the pointed snickers. He lined us up for the mile run, and I was the last one to push off. Each step was a thunder of embarrassment for me. My legs didn't want to listen, and every extra ounce in my body dragged me down. I saw Coach draw in a breath and bark across the field, loud enough for everyone. "Hurry it up, Ethan!" "You call that running?" A flare of shame burned across my face like gasoline. A classmate laughed and shouted, "He'll never be an athlete!" I tried to hold my shape, shoulders stiff, face burning, pretending I didn't hear anything. By the time I completed that lap, I was alone, the last slow foot stumbling in the dust. Coach shook his head, disgusted. "Kid, you're never going to be an athlete. You might as well walk." I was heartbroken. Those words lodged themselves inside me, twisted and sharp. Never be an athlete. I could feel the disbelief of the class, the laughter of my peers echoing in my head. At 14 years old, I was convinced the world was right. They all told me who I was and who I would be. The fat kid, the slow kid, invisible, or an object of ridicule. The mirror in the locker room was an enemy. I never wanted to see the sweat on my face or the fat on my stomach. I hated it. Sometimes I wanted to hit something, maybe myself, maybe them. I didn't know. I just wanted it to stop hurting so badly. The next morning, standing under a borrowed street lamp at 5 a.m., I laced up my shoes and I started running. The dawn was pale and quiet, the neighborhood empty. No one watched me as I put one foot in front of the other. Cold air filled my lungs as I ran down the block. My legs burned almost immediately, but I kept pushing. I had moved away from the city after my parents divorced to live with my aunt, and I threw myself into the silence of the suburbs. I was on my own. I ran. At 14, I felt my world fall apart, so I ran. The ground beneath my feet became my sanctuary. With each step, the pain in my heart thudded in time to my pulse. The road stretched out before me like an empty promise, something to believe in when everything else felt broken. I didn't know where I was going. I only knew that running kept me moving forward. I ran until the sun touched the sky, until evening shadows grew long over the pavement. Finally, I collapsed on a curb in exhaustion. My legs shook, and tears mixed with sweat on my cheeks. When I looked up, the streetlights glowed against the dusk. I smiled for the first time in a long time. Tomorrow, I'd run again. Morning turned to afternoon, and I ran until my mouth was dry. I counted steps, built distance, forced myself to breathe through tight lungs. I think I ran until the sun set, on tired feet and bandaged knees. Sometimes I had no clue where I was, just feeling the pavement under me, the wind in my face. Each step I took felt like peeling away a layer of what I'd been told I was. Little by little, I became less heavy, and when I finally collapsed onto the curb that evening, heat rising from my head, all I knew was that tomorrow I would run again. Somewhere along the line, I fell in love with running. By high school, I had erased so much of that fat kid's past that sometimes I hardly recognized who I used to be. My face changed, my body changed, but inside still lived the memory of that boy who sat silently at lunch. Whenever I ran for him too, the scared kid who desperately wanted to prove them wrong. I never spoke of it. Nobody in my life knew the shame I carried. I kept it secret, married to every mile. Now, in my late 20s, I am back in that city. I haven't been here in years. The air feels different, a reminder of who I am and who I have outgrown. An old bus station looms on the corner, blanketed in graffiti. Taxis zip by with clipped yellow horns. Brick facades drip wet from an overnight rain. There's the smell of hot coffee from a street cart and the distant wail of a siren. It's morning, and the city is pulling itself up out of sleep. I can't smile. Not yet. This place changed me, but not who I am now. My legs shake slightly as the starting gun fires, and the murmurs around me hush to a whisper, and then to silence. 30,000 pairs of feet pound the pavement as one. We surge forward, a wave of sweat and determination. Crowd cheers echo off steel and glass. I was slower before. This time I am strong. For years I trained in hidden fields and lonely tracks. My muscles remember each painful mile, blood and tears, early mornings under streetlights, doubts and defeats. Every step I take now is paid for by the ones I took long ago. Neon signs on shops and towers blur past in my peripheral vision. The city is waking up for real. I let the past fall away with each stride. I run on instinct, muscle memory. This city used to weigh on me. Now my feet make tiny dents in its concrete memory, running towards something I can barely name. I am losing track of distance. Along the route, runners pass water stations. Volunteers offer cardboard cups. I take one and feel the cold water hit my lips, dripping down my chin. The cheering spectators blur into a wall of faces. Some clapping, some holding homemade signs, most of them strangers who have no idea who I am. It could be any early morning jogger out here. I wear no name, no weight, no high school reputation. Onlookers have no clue of my history. I'm just another man turning the city's heartbeat into footsteps. The miles turn into hours. I remember the gym shoes from 8th grade, black with white scuff marks, laced too tightly by my aunt. I was already heavy, and those shoes felt like boats on my feet. I can still feel the asphalt burning my shins back then. I was sure I'd never reach where I am now. Somewhere around mile 20, my hips pinch, a pain that spreads down my leg. I inhale sharp breaths, try to ignore the burn in my quads and calves. Every runner hits a wall, they say, but I learned a long time ago how to smash through walls. At 17, I ran 5 miles every day at dawn, sometimes 6, before school. I crushed the extra cupcakes out of my life like the morning sun burned ice. I knew every street from my old town to the next. I ran them all barefoot one summer just to understand the land beneath me. I sprinted alone in winter, lungs closing down on ice so that no one, especially me, could ever doubt how far I'd go. It's paying off now. I smile grimly at the pain. It means I'm alive. It means I'm closer. A man beside me stumbles. I glance over. It's a runner in a blue shirt who's just taken a bad step. He staggers on the course before hitting his knee to the tarmac. Heat radiates off the road. He's panting, clutching his leg, trying to push himself up. I keep going at first. There are so many runners ahead and behind, I wonder if anyone else is stopping. I feel the familiar competitive urge to keep moving, keep the pace, adrenaline urging me forward, but something holds me back. Maybe it's the guilt from the kid I used to be, still alive inside me. Maybe it's the ghost of the boy who collapsed, too weak to run away. I pull up short. I stare at his face, blood pounding in my ears. I know that face. In that second, all those years behind me rush forward. I hear a voice from the past, faint but clear. It's me, older, calling out. I step back, heart hammering. This can't be him. But it is. His mouth curves into surprise. He scrambles up, one hand pressed to his knee. He's a man now, but his eyes are the same cruel brown eyes that once watched me crumble. The voice in my head feeds me the name I thought I'd forgotten. Lucas. Lucas? I say quietly. He looks to one side. Silence crashes between us. I offer a hand. Need help? His gaze flicks to my hand, then locks on my face. Recognition flares in him. It washes over his features. Shock, hope, guilt, and suddenly tears fill his eyes. Lucas swallows hard, voice trembling. Ethan? My heart skips, though my legs stay steady on the pavement. He nods, tears wetting his cheeks. Oh God, I didn't recognize you. It's been forever. He staggers forward, clinging to my shoulder. He's a stranger with my childhood name on his lips. You. It's you, man, he gasps. I'm so sorry. I was such a... His apologies tangle in the air between us. I let him lean on me as we try to stand upright together at the side of the road. He is exhausted, face streaked with sweat and pain. But in those eyes, I see it all. Remorse, regret, a broken kid reaching out. I help Lucas up from the ground. He winces as he finds his footing. A race official runs up and asks if he can continue. My shoulder needs a second, he says, half laughing in disbelief. Lucas squeezes my arm. You have no idea what this means. I screwed up. He forces out a laugh and then turns to really see me. He steps back, absorbing me. Wait, I told everyone you'd never be anything. But look at you. Look at you. The city drifts on around us, feet pounding, shouts echoing. I steady my breath and smile, something tender and sad at him. I don't answer. I just keep us moving forward, arm in arm, toward the finish. No need for more words. Around us, the crowd roars like an ocean. Some cheer our names. Someone had scrawled it on my bib. But I just feel Lucas's grip on me loosening. We are in the final stretch. Each step heavy, miraculous. Behind us, the pain of years seems to fall away with the thudding of our feet. For a moment, neither of us is coach, bully, victim, or champion. We are two battered souls, following the same course together. The finish line is just ahead. A beam of sunlight breaks through the clouds on the pavement before us. I smile at Lucas, genuinely. He meets my eyes, fear and relief mingling there. I don't say, I told you so, or any of those petty things. I know I'm finally leaving that ghost behind. The moment that line passes beneath my shoe, something inside me quiets. I am lighter than I have ever been. I let go of Lucas's hand softly, not shoving him away. We slow to a halt, breathless, alive. Lucas is staring at me, searching for something to say. He simply whispers, "Thank you, Ethan." The word is soft and scarce, but it trembles with meaning. There are no cheers for our reconciliation, only the distant clap of spectators. I open my mouth to speak and realize there is nothing to say. Not anymore. The shame, the anger, the longing to be someone else, they're buried here, in this moment. In the hush of our silence, I feel finally free. Lucas steps away and continues his race with new resolve, leaving me by the sidelines as I do the same. He's gone, slipping back into the crowd, and life continues. I walk off the course and into the cool city morning, my legs shaking and heart full of something I hardly recognize. Peace. Around me, the urban landscape roars back to life. I don't look back. The narrative of that boy and that bully was chapters ago. I step forward into the sunlight, allowing myself only one more glance at the road behind me. Then I run onward, not to prove anything to anyone, least of all those who judged me, but simply because I can. The city has never seemed so forgiving. In its beaten streets, I feel the quiet power of letting go, and with each step into this new day, I move on. He could have crossed that finish line alone. He had every reason to, after all the years of humiliation, after all the pain they gave him. But instead, he turned back. Because real victory isn't about beating others. It's about becoming more than what they made you feel. That day, he didn't just finish a marathon. He finished the story they wrote for him and began writing his own. A story of forgiveness, strength, and grace. If this story touched you, don't let it stop here. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to believe in second chances, and subscribe to From Shadows to Light, where every story reminds us that even in our darkest moments, the light is never gone. Because sometimes, the greatest revenge is becoming everything they said you couldn't be.